I had already decided to be careful that morning. Careful with my face, careful with my voice, careful with what I let myself remember on the way to the inheritance meeting. Grief in my family had always been treated like a procedural error, something to be minimized so the real business could proceed. That was the posture I was holding when I saw the old man. He was stuck at the corner of Market and Fifth, one wheel of his chair angled wrong, traffic inching forward with the mild cruelty of people who had somewhere else to be. He wasn't asking for help. He was doing that thing where you pretend long enough that maybe the world will correct itself. I could have kept walking. I was already late enough to justify it. But my hand moved before my reasoning caught up. "Let me," I said, steadying the chair, adjusting the wheel, guiding him up the shallow curb. He nodded once, not gratitude exactly, more like acknowledgement that a transaction had occurred. "You heading somewhere important?" he asked as I started to step away. "Inheritance meeting," I said. I didn't know why I answered honestly. Maybe because the word felt heavy in my mouth and I wanted to set it down somewhere. He looked at me for a moment, longer than politeness required. "So am I," he said. Then, after a pause that carried intention, "Would you mind if I went with you?" I hesitated. There are refusals that feel neutral, and refusals that feel like revelations about yourself. This would have been the second kind. "Sure," I said, and immediately felt the shape of consequences I couldn't yet see. We moved slowly. Elevators, crosswalks, hallways with institutional carpet. He asked my name. I gave it. I didn't ask his. He didn't offer it. There was a familiarity in the way he watched things pass, like someone revisiting a place they'd once been forced to leave. About halfway there, I thought about optics, about my sister's face tightening at the sight of a stranger, about the lawyer's polite confusion, about how this kindness might be reclassified as a mistake, but he seemed unbothered by my silence. When the building came into view, he said, "This is the one," with a certainty that made me stop. Inside, the receptionist looked up, then down at her screen, then back up. Her smile adjusted itself. "Of course," she said, already reaching for the badge. My sister was standing when we entered the conference room. She saw me first. Then she saw him. The change was immediate and untheatrical, which made it worse. Color drained from her face. Her hand tightened on the back of the chair as if the room had tilted slightly. No one spoke. Then the lawyer stood. Mr. Stahn. "Hale," he said with professional ease. "I wasn't sure you'd be able to attend in person." The old man inclined his head. Circumstances change. That was it. No accusation, no explanation, just recognition. I looked at my sister. She would not meet my eyes. The meeting unfolded the way meetings do, documents referenced, clauses clarified, voices kept calm by habit, but the axis had shifted. The man beside me was not a guest. He was a variable my sister had built her assumptions around avoiding. I learned things sideways, through the way names were used, through the way the lawyer deferred, through the fact that certain assets were now discussed with care, as if they had always been provisional. At one point my sister tried to speak. The sound caught before it fully formed. She stopped. When it was over, there was no explosion, no confrontation, just a revised understanding of what had always been true. Outside, the old man waited while I held the door. "You didn't know," he said. Not a question. "No," I said. "That's all right. You still chose to help." He didn't say thank you. He didn't need to. The dignity in his voice was complete, self-contained. My sister passed us without a word, her heels too loud against the floor. As the door closed behind her, I felt something settle. Not victory, not relief. Just the weight of having been the person who carried the truth into the room without realizing what it was. Compassion, it turned out, didn't absolve anyone. It only made sure the right people were present when the reckoning arrived.